Hey, it's Dave in Texas. I thought I'd come on here and show a few things. Last weekend, they had an art fair down in the town square, and so I went down there to look around. And then there was also a art exhibit in one of the buildings. But I parked over by the library, and in our library, they usually have a little book nook type thing where they sell CDs, some DVDs, movies, and books, of course. And yeah, it's pretty good. I found some stuff that I was kind of happy that I went into the library about, but it's odd. It's been fairly mild here where I live, and then just so happens that that day summer came back. In fact, it's supposed to get pretty hot today. I'm sure close to 100. I think on Saturday it was like 104. So going inside some of the air-conditioned buildings were worthwhile. But I found this here. This is Warren Ellis's Wildstorm, and it's sort of his version of it, or like a retcon of it, or reincarnation of it. I think it started out on Marvel, or maybe it was on Image or something like that. But it has, he's doing this story, and it's kind of a espionage, spy, sci-fi, pulpy, kind of a big mixture of a lot of different things. But yeah, this has introduces a lot of the characters that was in that series, because it's the first 6 issues of that series. And this is what some of the artwork looks like. But anyway, I haven't read any of these yet, but I look forward to doing so. So like I said, this is Warren Ellis's Wildstorm. Next, I found these Parker graphic novels by Richard Stark. This is hardback edition. And I had read one of his graphic novels before, and I don't know that I picked up one of them. It may have been The Hunter was the first one that I had read. But they're kind of like crime noir type books with unusual artwork. As you can see here, they're kind of monochromatic in that they only have like black and white with one extra color added to it. And these are adapted from Richard Stark's crime novels from back in the day, pulp or noir crime novels. His real name was Donald Westlake, and used the pen name, particularly, he had a lot of different pen names, but for his crime novels like this, he used the Richard Stark, and he did, this is one of the adaptations. This was called Slayground. And he said he got the name Richard Stark from Richard Whitmark, which was in this movie here, which is a noir, Kiss of Death. And he got his last name Stark because back in those days, in his novels, which were big back in the day, I guess the 30s or something like that, the writing was real stark and kind of wasn't very embroidered. It was just kind of to the point. And so yeah, I mean, people like Mickey Spillane, and of course Westlake, and there were a lot of other ones that wrote back then. But yeah, now this isn't my favorite noir. It's an okay noir to see, but I can think of a lot of other ones that I can appreciate more. But yeah, Richard Whitmark is in this movie, plays a real kind of a scummy type of mobster, but he does a good job of it. So yeah. Then I found this one. This is called The Outfit. They did an adaptation, and I don't know if it was from this book or maybe they just, formed it out of whole cloth. But let's see, Lee Marvin was in was it Lee Marvin or, I forget the other guy's name, the actor, but there was a movie by the name of the outfit. Again, this has sort of similar bluish, black and white with some blue added to it. But the books are done really well. They're really nicely put together. And the artist's name is Darwin Cook. He has since passed, several years back. But his artwork I really enjoy. Then I picked up this one as well, The Score. This is a picture of Westlake right here. And Darwin Cook as well, the artist. So yeah, this is called The Score. And this one has similar, they're all similar in the way that they're designed, but this one has black, white, and orange type artwork in it. Like this. They're all pretty neat reading. You could probably find these at your library in your town, which is what I would suggest if you're interested in, reading comics at all, or even just reading books. I mean, libraries are a great way to spend some time. Then I found this one. Don't know much about it other than Haro County is supposed to be a horror, as you can kind of see from this cover here, sort of a horror comic. Haro County on Dark Horse Presents. And like I said, I haven't read it yet, so I don't really know anything about it. But might be a pretty cool one to read for Halloween. And I don't think the full novel is in this one issue. It may be several issues, but this is the first issue. So if I wanted to read further, I could do so. Be a good one to read on Halloween, like I said. This is by Greg Rucka, called Stumptown. Again, it's another crime book. Stumptown is, for my money, the perfect Rucka book. So writes Matt Fraction, Greg Rucka, and Matthew Southworth, I guess, is the artist. But some interesting artwork. I don't know if this takes place in New York City, but it kind of looks like it may. So yeah, it's fairly darkish artwork, and kind of like those Donald Westlake books, in a way, but with not just one color. They have several colors in it. So yeah, that should be interesting as well. It says Portland, Oregon, so I don't know if this takes place in Oregon or not, but yeah, pretty cool book. Stumptown. And then I found this one too. This looks like another horror title. Real thin book, but the art's by Bo Hampton, who I have something else by him, although I don't know what it is now. This looks like it may have to do with witches. Verdilac, Bo Hampton and Mark Neese. I guess Mark Neese is the writer, perhaps. But again, sort of neat artwork in it. And kind of painted looking artwork. Like I said, this would be another good one to read during the Halloween season, perhaps, or just whenever. I can do horror just whenever. But I always have liked Bo Hampton's artwork. He has a brother too that also is an artist, and I can't think of his name either. But yeah. Verdelic is, I guess, how you might say that. And I thought I might show some CDs I've been listening to lately. Kind of got on a Porcupine Tree kick here lately. These guys here, they're from England. And I really like a song on here. They have nice artwork on their albums. And when I first bought these a long time ago, this came out in '96. They didn't have anything on vinyl, which at the time I probably wouldn't have bought it on vinyl anyway. I was already buying CDs, and still it's my preferred media. But I don't think they had anything on vinyl then. So I picked this one up and this one right here. And I got them at Borders, which is no longer a bookstore. But there used to be a big bookstore, big Borders there in Dallas, about in the middle of the town. And me and my brother would go down there and, spend an hour or so just looking around at all the CDs. They handle CDs, books, movies, and all kind of things. Kind of like a bigger Barnes and Noble, I guess you could say. Now, they didn't always have the cheapest prices, but they handled a lot of different things that a normal outlet like that wouldn't handle, like these here. I looked all over for some of these, and I couldn't ever find anything by Porcupine Tree. But I used to think this was my favorite one by them, which is called Stupid Dream, and it is a really good one. I'll show you the first three, or the three that I would recommend. But I've been listening to this one lately. This one's called Signify, and I'll play some samples from it. But this one is really, they're kind of a mixture of progressive metal. But this one is really atmospheric, which is what I prefer by them. And yeah, there's a song on here called Waiting, Phase 1 and 2. Like I say, it has some psychedelia in it, progression, sometimes some progressive metal even in it, which I don't care for the progressive metal part as much. But I'll get to Waiting on here and see what you think. This is a short one called Pagan. It's just a little interlude which goes into Waiting. And Waiting is broken up into two songs, Waiting Phase 1 and Waiting Phase 2. Now you can hear some of these over at Bandcamp, and I'll try and leave a link below. I know you can hear, let's see, this one here on Bandcamp, which is another good one. I've been listening to this as well. Comes with a little booklet. They do all their artwork for their albums really good. So yeah, I would recommend, if you wanted to try and get into them, either Signify, which is what's playing. This one's called In Absentia, which is another. It's got a little bit more progressive metal on it than I normally like, but it's still got some really good songs on it. This one might be a little bit more psychedelic, I don't know. This is Stupid Dream. But again, there's a thread going all through it being progressive, with progressive music you get, progressive music actually grew out of psychedelic music. And so there's some psychedelic stuff on here. And also, let me show you these first. This is one that I really haven't gotten into yet. This is called Light Bulb Sun. I listened to it the other night and I still haven't been able to get into it very well. But, different people like different things from the band. And this one has shorter songs and just like none of them have really won me over yet. And this one here is called On the Sunday of Life, which I think is either their first or second one. It may be their second one. But yeah, I should listen to this one tonight and see how it strikes me. But yeah, and then besides these, they've got a lot of other ones. I don't know how many albums they have. And then also the main guy in this band is his name is Steve Wilson. And I'm going to turn this off because I have a hard time thinking and listening to that at the same time. But the main guy, his name is Steve Wilson, and he also has several solo albums out. I really like his solo album called The Raven That Died Alone, which again is like these in some ways. And, there's an atmosphere to it, kind of introspection, and then also there's also vocal harmonies. If I had to kind of describe them, I'd kind of say they were in between, say, something like Pink Floyd and with Beatle harmonies, at least on some of their albums, at least on these first, these three that I've already shown, that one, these kind of strike me as being like Pink Floyd in some of the music. But anyway, Steve Wilson, the main guy on here, the guitar player, and he also plays keyboards and sings, has his own music podcast, which is up on YouTube. And I'll try and leave a link for that too. He was on there, I was watching it this week. He was on there talking about progressive music and, just some of the stuff he liked. He was talking to a friend of his who I didn't recognize. And they were talking about different progressive bands that they all liked. And one of the albums that he mentioned is this one here, which I re-listened to again this week. This is Pink Floyd's Obscured by Clouds. I've got this on vinyl as well. And he kind of liked it because it was not quite as slick as, say, Dark Side of the Moon or whatever, but he liked this one and more, which came out around the same time. So yeah, I'll try and leave a link to his blog. But then I also listened to this one. This is Embryo. A lot of their albums are really cool. They're kind of a jazz rock progressive band. And in this one, they kind of jam with local musicians of the area, which this would be kind of the Middle East, I guess, or perhaps Egyptians. There's a bunch of them right there. Came with a little booklet inside. I don't think this is on vinyl. But yeah, pretty interesting album. Then I listened to this here. This is a CD a guy gave me, a friend of mine from Austin. And I put it on one time, couldn't quite get into it, but once I started listening to the second track, which is called South Street Exit by Dolphy, I liked it a lot better. And it's got 6 songs on here. The only other person that I recognize on here is the drummer, which is Hans Bennick. This is a live album recorded June 2nd, 1964 in Holland. So yeah, on Fontana label. But yeah, I listened to some of that, and then I've got these on vinyl as well. These are ECM records. This is it's a combination of Charlie Hayden, Jan Gabarek, and Egberto Gismonte folk songs. Just about anything that this Egberto Gismonte is on is really good. He plays guitar, kind of a classical string guitar. This is another one, Sol Do Mio Dia. And Ralph Towner's on here, along with Colin Walcott, Jan Gabarek, Nana Vasconcelos. And as you can kind of tell with the title and his name, he comes from Latin America country. But yeah, he's a guitarist and real good. He also plays piano. But yeah, so there's that. And then I watched some movies, which maybe I can show you real quick. Let's see here if I can figure out how to do this. Which is this movie here, Half Nelson, with Ryan Gosling in it. Generally like Ryan Gosling. He's pretty talented. You know, he even did a musical, that La La Land, which is not something I would generally want to see, but, you know, it was really done pretty well. This one here is called Half Nelson. He plays a teacher in New York City and befriends one of the female students there. And they both have problems in a way. He has a drug problem and probably alcohol problem too. But yeah, it's pretty interesting, just kind of a slice of life type movie. It says the tour de force by the brilliant Gosling, surely one of our greatest young movie actors. But yeah, just talks about the little girl and her parents are split up and her brother's in jail. And he tries to, you know, be friends with her. And then he's got his own problems as well. Let's see here. Saw this one called Speak No Evil. They've since come out with an Americanized version of this. So I thought I'd watch this. I can't really stream the American version yet, so I'll watch this one. This is I don't know if it's foreign. I don't know if it's Scandinavia or what country this comes out from. But yeah, it's just about a couple and their kid, and they sort of befriend these people over in Holland. And things don't go right, and they kind of start disagreeing with each other. The people from Holland ask them to come over. They are actually from, I believe it was they're from Sweden, and they go over to visit these people from Holland. They've been asked to come over and visit with them. And yeah, things don't go right, and things go wrong. And I didn't quite like it because the guy in it just seems such a pushover type person. If you've ever seen that movie called Funny Games, the same thing kind of applies in that. The husband figure is just such a pushover, and you know that he just is not very defensive of his family. So it kind of bothers me a little bit, but otherwise it was a fairly okay movie, not great, but yeah, okay. This is called Kill the Irishman, kind of a mob movie taking place in Cleveland. And of course, like the title implies, he's an Irish guy and sort of gets into the mob pretty easily. But then he tries to rise up through the ranks and sort of is runs into opposition from the mob in New York City, the Italian mob. So it was kind of like the Italian mob and the Irish mob sort of clashing with each other. And actually it's pretty interesting, although I'm not a huge mobster fan or anything. And then I saw this one here. Thought this one was pretty good. I saw this on Netflix. Kind of blurry picture, but it's called Mr. Harrigan's Phone. And it's about this young boy who befriends this older rich guy in town, and the rich guy pays him to come over and read books for him. And of course, he's bullied in school. If you ever read any Stephen King, he writes a lot about bullies. But he kind of gets distracted from his school and the bullying and so forth by reading to this rich guy. The rich guy is played by Donald Sutherland, and it's not his last film that he ever was in, but it's like the third or fourth last film that he was ever in. Like I said, it's an adaptation by a Stephen King book. And I really hate to say much more about it because it's better just to kind of watch it and let it unfold. But yeah, I thought it was really worthwhile to watch it. There's supernatural elements to it. But yeah, Mr. Harrigan's Phone. Then I watched this one here. This is called Wonder. It has Julia Roberts and Owen Wilson in it. And it's just about their little boy here who has a face disfigurement. And, you know, they're wanting him, he was schooled at home, and they want him to start going to public school just to, you know, get involved with other kids and whatnot. Of course, he's really apprehensive about that, the little boy, because, you know, kids make fun of people like that and whatnot. Like I said, bullying. But yeah, pretty good movie. I'm almost forgetting. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm almost forgetting about what it's about. But you know, he does make friends eventually in that school, and help him to get over you know, his own insecurities. So yeah, Wonder. Then I saw this. I've seen it before. This is a documentary on H.R. Giger, who was the Swiss artist to help Ridley Scott put together Alien and Aliens. H.R. Giger is a Swiss. He's from Switzerland. And this is just about his life. And it shows a lot of his artwork, and which is, you know, some of it is pretty sexually graphic, so I wouldn't watch it with my family. But yeah, if you're into surrealist art or the artwork of Alien, there was also some artwork in a horror film called Species, which was kind of about a female alien type character. But anyway, yeah. Dark Star, H.R. Giger's World. So yeah, that's about all I got going today. I just thought I'd come on here and show a few things, and just enjoying my time off. Hope y'all are too. I think our weather is about ready to change here in about a week or two. Probably 100 today, so yeah, I'm bearing with it. So we'll talk to you later.